Catapult. The catapult was one of the earliest siege machines designed to throw heavy objects over long distances. It used a simple mechanical idea: stored energy in twisted ropes or bent wood that released suddenly to launch a projectile. Armies used catapults to hurl stones, burning materials, or even debris toward enemy walls and soldiers. Early versions appeared in ancient Greece and later spread across many civilizations. The real purpose of the catapult was not always to break walls directly, but to cause chaos, destroy defenses, and weaken the defenders from a distance. Ballista. The ballista looked almost like a giant crossbow mounted on a frame. It fired large bolts or heavy darts with impressive speed and accuracy. Ancient Greek engineers first developed it, and the Romans later improved the design for use in their armies. Instead of throwing rocks in an arc like a catapult, the ballista shot its projectiles in a straight line, making it useful for targeting soldiers, towers, and defensive positions on city walls. Because of its precision, it was sometimes used more like a battlefield sniper weapon than a wall-breaking tool. Trebuchet. The trebuchet was one of the most powerful siege machines ever built in the ancient and medieval world. It worked using a long arm with a heavy counterweight on one side and a sling on the other. When the counterweight dropped, the arm swung upward and launched a large stone through the air. This design allowed trebuchets to throw extremely heavy projectiles farther than most other machines. They were especially effective during long sieges, slowly breaking down city walls or destroying buildings inside fortified cities. Mangonel. The mangonel was a type of catapult that used twisted ropes or tension to power a throwing arm. Unlike the smoother motion of a trebuchet, the mangonel's arms snapped forward quickly and struck a crossbar, which helped launch the projectile. This sudden impact gave the weapon a strong but somewhat less controlled throw. Mangonels were commonly used by medieval armies and could launch stones, burning pitch, or other destructive materials toward enemy defenses. Their simpler design made them easier to build and transport compared to larger machines. Onager. The Onager was a Roman siege engine that worked similarly to the mangonel, but with a distinctive style of motion. It used a powerful twisted rope bundle to store energy in a vertical arm. When released, the arm slammed forward against a padded stop, sending a stone flying high into the air. The name Onager, meaning wild donkey, came from the violent kick the machine made when it fired. Roman armies used it mainly to bombard walls and defensive towers during sieges. Battering ram. The battering ram was a straightforward but extremely effective siege tool designed to break through gates and walls. It consisted of a massive wooden beam, often tipped with metal, that soldiers swung repeatedly against a structure. Over time, the constant impact weakened the materials until the gate or wall finally gave way. Many battering rams were mounted under protective wooden frames covered with hides or metal plating, so soldiers could operate them while shielded from arrows and boiling liquids thrown from above. Siege tower. The siege tower was a tall, mobile structure built to match or exceed the height of a city's defensive walls. Soldiers inside the tower could safely approach the fortress while protected by wooden walls and sometimes metal plating. Once close enough, a bridge at the top would drop onto the enemy wall, allowing attackers to cross directly into the city's defenses. Siege towers required careful construction and large teams to move them, but they allowed armies to bypass strong walls that would otherwise take months to break. Siege ladder. The siege ladder was one of the simplest tools used during assaults on fortified cities. These long ladders allowed soldiers to climb directly up enemy walls during an attack.
Unlike large machines, ladders could be carried quickly and used in sudden assaults. However, they were extremely dangerous for attackers, since defenders could push them away or attack climbing soldiers from above. Even so, ladders remained a common sight in many sieges because they required little preparation and could be deployed instantly. Corvus. The Corvus was a boarding device developed by the Romans for naval warfare, but also used in certain siege-like naval assaults on coastal cities. It consisted of a rotating bridge with a heavy spike underneath. When a Roman ship approached an enemy vessel or wall structure near the harbor, the bridge would drop and the spike would dig in, locking the two surfaces together. This allowed Roman soldiers to cross over and fight directly, turning naval battles into close combat where Roman infantry excelled. Helepolis. The Helepolis was a massive siege tower used by ancient Greek armies, particularly during the Hellenistic period. Its name means taker of cities, and it was one of the largest siege machines ever constructed. Covered with protective metal plates to guard against fire, the tower contained multiple levels filled with soldiers and siege weapons like small catapults and ballistas. As it rolled toward the enemy walls, these weapons fired continuously while troops prepared to storm the defenses from the top. Petard. The Petard was a smaller siege device used later in the medieval period to destroy gates or walls using explosive force. It was essentially a metal container filled with gunpowder that soldiers attached directly to a door or weak point in a wall. When ignited, the explosion shattered the structure and created an opening for attackers. Though dangerous for the soldiers placing it, the Petard represented the growing influence of early explosives in siege warfare.